Hey there friends, and welcome to a new video. What I want to tell you today is Tartaglia is good, and as you all know, another rerun, which means, you guessed it, a Tartaglia Showcase. First I want to go with a DPS, because a lot of people don't play DPS Tartaglia anymore. And I want to show you why it's still a good option. Like, pretty much what you do is just go in with his E, and you just kill him. That's all it is. This is made more as a video for those that want to get Tortilla but are afraid to do it. Why? Because he's hard to play, because I don't know what reason. And I know people love showcases. You wonder why I play Cleave? Because she's in cooldown. Don't worry, he's the sub DPS. Don't worry, she's not the main DPS. It's Tartaglia. But since he's in cooldown, I'm gonna use Cleave. You see, you just wait for him to be back. And then, let's see, is he back? Yup. His riptide is really nice. Like, I'm going to explain to you why his riptide is so nice, maybe later in the video, and even go show you examples of why it's so nice for some that don't know why. But pretty much this is the first half, and you saw, not hard at all. Well, I guess we will see ourselves back in the second half.
A blade embrace.
Well, we are back. And now, I remember I was at the Riptide story. Oh yes, the Riptide story. The good thing about Tartaglia is that when you have a lot of enemies, small enemies around you, the Riptide can be very good. And I'm sure I'm going to put it at the end for those that want to see. But for now, I just gotta showcase the DPS Tartaglia. All you have to do is just on-gun bomb everything, you know? And you see cool animation, which is very cool. And I know a lot of you are just afraid of the elemental skill, but it's really not a big deal. It's really not. Because that's why you got a team, and he's not alone on the field. Because all you do, I know, crazy, you just use your sub DPS. In my case, Click. And I know it's going to sound crazy, but you're still going to do damage. And you do that until you get him back, which is really won't take long. It really won't take long. See, you charge your sub, you do your things. Yep, he's back. And then you just start again, which that's why I like Tartaglia, because he's really simple. You don't need all these strategies of try hard, etc. All you need is left click. Just left click with him. That's all you got to do. And now that he's on cooldown, no. Woohoo! This guy is pretty scary. Not gonna lie. It can be pretty scary. And now you just go clear again. And I want to end Tartaglia, that's why I'm not going to kill him now. You see, he's back already. And he's done. I know. You see? And I'm really exaggerating like this, because some people are like, but his cooldown is scary. Like, oh, it's so hard to use it. Like, believe me, it's not. It's just you're paranoid. You're just listening to too many people that just say dumb things. But I'm going to go on in the second part, because I'm sure you're here for the showcase, not me just talking. Well, Now we are here to the last part, the end. I'm going to take the crit. Now, I just want to do more damage. So as I was going, the people that are afraid of this cooldown, you just listen too much to people that just don't like the character because it's not their type, you know. That's pretty much what's happening. Those people, no matter what, they just don't like Tartaglia. That doesn't mean you won't, see? And by doing that and not actually giving him a chance, you miss on something that you might like and actually help your account improve. Not only that, but have fun at the same time with him. You see? It's not hard to use. I don't know if it looks hard to you, but to me, that looked really easy. And that's how this whole Abyss run looked really easy. Before I go into the explaining and all that, I got a second showcase. Because, as I said, Tartaglia DPS is not the best anymore. The best way to play him is a sub DPS more nowadays. So, I'm going to let you see that showcase. Well, I welcome you to the sub DPS Tartaglia part. First, before I wanted to start, I want just to quickly tell you we are not going to do all the second half because this video will be way too long. That's why I'm just going to show you this real quick. I'll let you know that's why Tortilla is a good sub DPS. That was quick. That was nice at the same time. I know, you can do that, only if you get it at talent. Okay, not really only if you get it at talent, but you know what I mean, okay? You know what I mean. Just freeze their ass, use your DPS, and when the time comes, bring in your sub DPS to Tartaglia and smash them. This tool, I don't know about you, but for me it looks really good. Huh? And you see, again you use Ayaka, and only when you use her burst, you'll use your sub DPS called Tartaglia, you guessed it. Or, if you don't care about the order, you can just play him like this, Onga Bonga. Huh? But I'm just kidding. This is not how you play the team. Normally I should have played Ayaka, but since I've got the time, I just fooled around with Tartaglia. Well, now really quickly, since I've seen that the last part, which was supposed to be the showcase for the support Tartaglia, was long at all, it was like a minute or something, I've decided to go again and give you another fight because I felt like it was way too short. Way too short. That's why I'm decided to give, you know, a nice little fight. I can show again his value and show why he's so good in this game. Yeah, looks interesting. With how much time on the clock? Oh yeah, 9:35. Well, DPS sub DPS Tartaglia is really nice. I won't go into the details right now. I will go later. First I want to talk about the DPS and what, etc. So that's pretty much it for the support part. I know it's short, but you saw how fast the enemies died, and I'm sure the video is going to be pretty long. So if you really want a longer version, just ask in the comments below, and I promise I'll do one if you really want one. If you got to the part of this video, I'm pretty sure you were impressed by what you saw earlier. So what I want to tell you is that what you saw earlier was two types of Tartaglia. One in which he was the DPS with this team of Klee, Cho, Bennett, and the other team was made
I await your instructions.
so you can see how I support Tartaglia works. I think I already have him. This was the thing. Now, if you didn't understand or you want a further explanation of what happened, it's pretty easy. In this team, he's the sub DPS because Ayaka does the real damage, you see. He boosts her, etc. And the only moment you want him is when Ayaka's burst is on. Besides that, if Ayaka's burst is not anymore on the field, you don't want him. Because all he does, he completes Ayaka's DPS. That's why he's called a sub DPS. Because Ayaka is the one that needs to do all the damage in this team. And this is why, as you saw earlier, Tartaglia can be a really good choice. And if you ask how good of a sub DPS he is, he's amazing. You can pretty much play him with every DPS in this game, and I'm not even kidding, because it works with Pyro, Electro, and Ammo. You call it. I'm sure it will work even with Dendro. That's my bet. I'm sure even with Dendro DPSs, Tartaglia will work. Because simply what Tortilla does for all these characters is that he lets them do their DPS, not only that, but gives them a boost to do more damage. And when they have a cooldown or you can't play them and you need, let's say, energy or I don't know what, that depends on the character, you can just play him for 15 seconds or 10, depending on your set, which is really good because it fits perfectly. You see, it fits. And after those 10-15 seconds, you do your rotations, etc., and you go back to your DPS. This is it. I know, crazy. Which is why I will tell you to get him, because he can go in pretty much all your team comps. All of them. And I mean it. All of them. No matter who the DPS. Even Coco. You see, even characters that weren't supposed to DPS, he can go in those teams. Let's say even a Noel team he could go. That's how good as a support. But now the tricky part, the DPS. The problem is that he's already an old character and that he already lost some value. What you want to know what I mean by value? I mean that his damage is not the best DPS anymore. That's pretty much what I mean. But he's still good enough to clear the game. So if you want to DPS with him, all you need is another sub DPS, like Klee, let's say. A sub DPS that can take on the field when he's in cooldown, you see? It's the same thing as when he's a sub DPS, but this time you will take someone to cover up for him. That's pretty much the mentality you need to go in with. I need someone to cover up for him when he is in cooldown. The teams will change a little bit, but the best thing about Hydro is that they got a good elemental interaction with everyone, which gives you a lot of team comps. So get him. Really, I mean it. If you don't want Hutao, you don't want Ito, you don't want the rerun that is going to come, because we are all sure Goro is not a 5-star. If you don't want any of those, might as well try Tartaglia because he's really fun and you can play him in a lot of team comps. See, this is a character that is guaranteed to be in your team no matter what. So this is my advice, just get him. And now, since we're done with this, we're gonna go to the last part and I will present you how you can play him for those that really don't know and really don't have any idea what's happening with him. So if you already know how to build him, this was pretty much in the video. Thank you. Well now, if you made it here, I'm pretty sure you want to know how Tortilla works and how you can pair him up in a team. So the first thing I always do is watch the passive talents for no matter what character, Tartaglia, Klee, Zhao, etc. Or if you're too lazy or you don't know English, you can just watch other people that can explain it, and that's what I'm going to do. Master of Weaponry. This is good because you get one more level up for your autos, which means all your team is going to get stronger. So you can see why this is good. I don't think I need to explain any further. We go to the next one. Sword of Torrents. Well, this one, nobody explains it because it's very basic. You want your E to apply the Riptide Slash? Well, just build crit rate on your Tortilla. This is pretty much it. I'm going to show you in the test one what I'm talking about. All you have to do is apply a crit hit and the Riptide is there. Now let me try to see. You see, if it's not a crit, it doesn't apply. So all you have to do is to apply the crit hit. This is pretty much it, and nobody talks about it because you just have to build crit rate, which is something very usual, something that everyone does. And his last passive is just, the duration is increased, it's something good, so ascend your Tortilla. That's pretty much about it. As for the E, I will skip the burst, I will talk about it after, because his E is the most important part of his kit. Why so? Because it's also the part that people are usually the most afraid of when they see this 45 seconds cooldown. But I tell you, don't be afraid because it's really easy, and I really mean it. If you're a newbie, and let's say you just got Tartaglia, just put on him Heart of Death or this set. Because what is going to happen when you use your E, there are these yellow arrows around your Tortilla. Just watch these yellow arrows. When they are here, it means you can fight. It means you got the boost. So you're good, you slash, and when it's done, you go out. And if you do it at the right time, it's going to be 21 seconds with Heart of Death. And what you need to do, basically, just play your sub DPS for 21 seconds, or let's say 50 seconds, and then you'll do your rotations, and your Tortilla will be back up. So that's why I'm telling you, don't be afraid of the idea that his skill has a cooldown, because if you play it right, in time you won't even notice the cooldown. You will get that used to how he plays that you'll use his E, you'll get out without even needing to look at the yellow arrows. You'll play, and you'll just even know when to go back. And that will happen with time. That's why I'm telling you, don't be afraid of this, because everyone, when we first got him, we were idiots. We didn't knew how to play. a lot of us stayed in this form for, let's say, 5 or 6 seconds more, or 5 or 6 seconds less. It happens, you know. It will happen to you too. But with time, you'll just master it. Like everything in life, you'll just master it, and you'll just know how to use it and when to use it. Now, for the burst. The only thing that matters is that you got 2 bursts. One with the bow and one when you're in your melee stance. The thing is that you do more damage with your E, but if you use the bow burst, you again can apply the Riptide. So it all depends to you. It's up to you. And this is again something that with time you're going to have to decide which one you want. I tell you, I just use the melee in general, but sometimes the range one can be good based on situations, and that's why I'm telling you it's up to you to decide. But yes, both of these are good. And as for his normal attacks, you won't really use them, but you can go up to 5, you know, and 6. You see, this Master of Weaponry made it 6, you know. Don't neglect the auto, but you know, it's not the most important. The only thing that matters is this one. Now, for artifacts, I feel like I've spoken about them a bit, but I will go back because maybe someone just doesn't know. Maybe you're someone who really doesn't have any idea how to play artifacts, etc. Well, I'm going to tell you. You can either play 4-piece Heart of Death, or you can play 4-piece Shimenawa. The only bad side about this I would say is Shimenawa, because Heart of Death there isn't anything to say, just 15 seconds, slash slash slash, and you go out. That's it, you know. Basically, pretty much it. But this set, not only you got 5 seconds less, but you will lose energy when you use your E. I'm going to do it for you right now. Watch my burst bar. You lose energy. But the good thing, as Heart of Death, you have these yellow arrows that show you when you get the boost, which is why it's a good set. And this is the warning. Don't go out by pressing your elemental skill, because you lose energy again. If you pick this set, you'll have to pick by taking the other character. So you have to keep this in mind, you see? There is a small difference. And now I'm sure maybe you'll ask, so which one do you advise me to take? Both are good. Just look into your account and see which one you have. Both of them can be good. And now I'm going to speak to the broke motherfuckers in this community that will say, I don't have any of these 2 sets. Okay, bro. Don't worry, I got you. I got you. If you don't, you will have to go for a mix. This, Noblesse, and Gladiator. These are the 4 artifacts you can use. Now, this one is for elemental burst damage. This is just for damage. This one again just for damage, the 2-piece. And this for hydro damage. Just look if you have the 2-piece of one of these 4 sets and just make a mix, okay? It will be decent until you get one of the 4-piece sets. Me, I will advise Heart of Death, but if you go Shimenawa, well, good luck to you, you know? Because Shimenawa can be good, but I just prefer Heart of Death. Now for the weapon, and this is one of the most important parts, because if you let me remove for 1 second his artifact on my Tartaglia, you will notice that he starts with 5 crit rate and 50 crit damage, which is pretty bad because he ascends with hydro damage, which means if you get anything else from a crit weapon that gives you crit rate or crit damage, is going to be harder to build him. Like this weapon, for me, I think is the best free-to-play option. But the problem is that nobody is able to build a Tartaglia with rust, because you need very good artifacts to do that. Luckily for me, I got some good ones, so mine is good enough. But since I'm sure for the ones that have good crit weapons, you don't need me to tell you what weapon to play on him. Just play your crit bow, you know? Just play that. But for those that plan to play Rust, have at least 55 crit rate with 120 crit damage. If you have less crit damage, too bad, you can improve that. But the most important is the crit rate. Believe me, it's the crit rate. That's why I'm telling you, at least 55. At least 55 and you will be good to go. And that's pretty much it for how to build him. And if you got any other question or points that I did not make clear, you can always ask in the comments down below.